I want to jump ahead to the sixth trait, a commitment to delay gratification.
Yeah.
Again, we've heard this before.
Sure.
But the immigrant edge.
Yeah.
How does this come alive in the immigrant edge?
Well, this is why I'll never have a successful infomercial.
Yeah.
Because you can have it now and it's 3 easy payments in 1995 is great. And everybody knows, but we still spend tens of billions of dollars every year on quick fixes. When you're an immigrant, you already delayed gratification to start with. And that is you put your life on hold, you put your relationships on hold, and here's the phrase, you paid a price. Like I would say, I'm 32 years living in America. Okay, I was 19 when I came. I can tell you that there are times when the only place I truly belong is somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. Like I go home to Ireland, I love Ireland, it's my people, it's the humor, it's the culture, it's everything. My mother and father still live in the same house they've lived in for 60 years. Wow. 720 square feet, there was 8 of us, 1 bathroom. You never got a cold seat. Wow. Okay, but I'm not fully at home there. Now, I'm living in San Diego, and San Diego is like paradise personified. I have a house overlooking the ocean. I got 6 great kids and whatever else. But there's times I feel like I'm not quite home. So there's that piece that you pay as an immigrant where you already had a price that you paid to go and pursue a dream. And you wouldn't come if you didn't have a dream. You were looking for something better. And so an immigrant by definition, and by the way, I got so much flack. The publisher fought me every way. Because Americans only understand the word immigrant. In fact, if they're only listening to the show and they can't see the book, most people think we're talking about immigrant with an I. Because immigrant with an E is not an American word. Right. But an immigrant is someone who permanently leaves one place to settle in another. So anybody who sets a goal, you want to permanently leave here to go to the next.
Yes.
Yeah, someone who wants to achieve a much bigger business, or they're leaving a job to go own their own business. They're permanently leaving one place. By very definition, you're an immigrant. And so the dynamic of that is delayed gratification means that I'm willing to pay a price. And I also understand that I have to forego the short-term payoff for the big, big gain. And it's hard. I mean, and in our culture today, you put down the seeds and 3 days later you pick it up. You know, we live in this instant media, instant messaging. Everything is, the politics, the presidency's decided in a 24-hour cycle. The Congress has decided in a 24-hour cycle. It's not life. It's not real. It's their reality, but it's not reality of how businesses work. It takes time. There's the law of the harvest, okay? And you reap what you sow. So let us never grow weary in doing good, because we'll reap a harvest if we do not give up. And I would say this. I've had a chance, like you, interview a lot of people. We do a magazine. We've done this for 22 years. You name it, we've had them. And I always ask 10 questions. And I've asked, let's say 500 people that are hugely successful. What's the one ingredient to being successful? And every one of them in one shape or the other will say perseverance, not giving up.
That's right.
It's always the case. And so delayed gratification means I have my eyes on a big prize. I'm willing to pay a price now. I'm willing to be off Broadway, to get off Broadway,
that's right,
to get near Broadway, to get a moment on Broadway, to get a part on Broadway, to be a star on Broadway, to be a producer on Broadway, to buy the whole street of Broadway.
That's right.
And most people never get the big payoff because they're addicted to short-term gains.
That's right. I want to ask you about something I talk about a good bit, and I want your take on it.
Yeah.
Because you get this. There is a tension that exists between getting up every day and persisting, having the perseverance to do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do, that you just described. That patience and perseverance, these are two huge things that we have to deal with. And there's tension there, right? I want to do, but then I have to wait. How have you managed that?
There's an old Irish phrase when talking about the Protestant church, and they used to say, patience and perseverance will make a bishop of his reverence, right? I think you have to understand the truth of success. And I think you need to meet people and talk to people who are really truthful about success and not the Hollywood version of it. You know, I mean, how long have you been married, Ken?
19 years.
19 years. Love of your life, right?
Absolutely.
Now, there are mornings when you guys wake up looking less than GQ.
Oh, yeah. I would say most.
some days that maybe the breath might be removing wallpaper. In my case, all these things, and it's just, honey, you just look amazing.
Yeah.
But Hollywood doesn't portray it that way.
No.
So you have real love. You have something of real depth in your life. You got 2 fabulous kids. You're experiencing this real success. And there's many days you're chasing around here, and honey, this happened, and this teacher, and this went on, and here's what happened at school, and here's what happened in sports, and I missed them here, and they say, yeah, we're eating out 3 nights this week, and pizza. It doesn't feel like success.
That's right.
And that is the big challenge. And so, to me, people just don't know what it's supposed to feel like. I'll give you an example. Okay, so people describe my life from the outside. They describe a life I don't recognize. This guy's had his own jet for 16 years. He lives this, he has that. He has hundreds of people. They have market share. It's been a big grind.
That's right.
Now, here's the thing. I do what I love. I love doing it. I get paid very well for it, and it really changes people's lives. I found what God put me on the earth to do, and I was very, very thankful to do it.
Right.
And here's a little piece on this. I don't love everything about what I do. I love what I do. I found my calling, but I don't love everything about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a stumbling block to people.
Yes.
I think they feel like if you're in your calling, if you're in your sweet spot, you're supposed to love everything about it. Like, here's the thing. I know I was put on earth to go present, impact people in the way I'm supposed to do it.
Right.
In order to do that, I had to go travel.
Right.
I had to go do seminars.
Yeah.
My first year did 179 seminars.
Yeah. That's not fun.
I'm a father. I was a coach. I'm dedicated in that regard, and I'm a homebody.
Yeah.
So being on the road, I lived on the road for years.
Yeah.
Now I worked in such a way. Today I'll do 10.
Right.
So now I really enjoy the 10. Now I bring the family with me. It's a great thing.
And 20 times, 30 times, 40 times the impact of those initial 179.
Yeah, much bigger, televised, broadcast, live stream.
I want you to destroy something.
Yeah.
And I think, let me ask a question, then have you destroy something.
Okay.
I think people don't realize the hard work because there's this cultural colloquialism that we've heard. And a lot of good people have said this. You ready? You're going to destroy this. I can't wait. If you do what you love, Brian, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
That's horse. You know what? You do work hard. The difference is you lay your head down at the end of the night, and it was worth it.
Well, it's the sleep of exhaustion that it's like you will go to a place where you'll sleep. You'll actually submerge into your bed, unconscious, used up beautifully.
Exhilarated.
Yeah. And you get up and I'm going to go do it again. And so it's all work. I mentioned it, Thomas Edison, here's a great American, right? 1,093 patents. Think of this.
Yeah.
Just 3 of them were, he gave us cameras, he gave us light, and he gave us sound. Lights, camera, action.
Right.
From one guy.
Right.
And he had 1,090 more. And his phrase opportunity comes dressed in overalls and looks a lot like work. In our culture today, we have this guy developed an app at 19, sold it for 2.3 billion, and he's off to the races. And there's 1 or 2 of those things. But the truth of the matter is the people who are building sustainable businesses and sustainable lives, it's a process. It's, Chuck Noll was a guy I had a chance to meet, Pittsburgh Steelers legendary Hall of Fame coach. And he used to talk about your life's work. And by the way, for him, your life's work had nothing to do with football. He was always telling his players, what's your life's work? Well, your life's work is part of that purpose. And I know this is big for you and helping people live lives of significance. But it has this sense of purpose to it because it's work. Work is part of the joy. One of the 10 Commandments, the 10 Commandments is not about the Sabbath. He says, 6 days you shall labor and 1 day you shall rest. The first part of the commandment is your work.
Right.
And so, again, I think the bottom line is it's that myth of what is real success and what it's packaged as. And the bottom line is when people do find something they enjoy and they do it well and they have confidence and they get compensated or they get the feedback that's meaningful to them, I think they'll do a lot more of it.
So much practical stuff in this book. So I want to hit some of these because you are, if anything, you are a goal monster. You set goals, you have reached those goals, you're continually setting new goals. Yeah. There's so much teaching out there in the self-help world about goal setting and then goal achieving. Yeah. One big thing you say that helps is an accountability partner. I love this because I don't think enough people actually access this tool.
Yeah.
How do you do it right? What does it look like if I'm listening right now? Okay, I've got my goals, Brian. I'm clear on that. I've never really accessed an accountability partner.
Sure.
What are they looking for? And then what is that interaction look like?
Okay, well, first tip, just one little piece there is it has to be in writing.
Okay. So none of this handshake, hey man, I want to check in with you. It's more formal.
Well, here's the thing, is that the studies are very clear. I've actually taken 3 million people through the exercise of goal writing. Zig Ziglar was near his deathbed, and he said to me, because I loved him like a father, and he loved me like a son. And he goes, you've done one thing I wish I'd have done, Brian. He said, I told people about goals, but I didn't have them write them there. Right. And I take a part of our events and say, we're going to stop the lights. We're going to play soft, classical, Baroque-style music. A guy won the Nobel Prize for this, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, wrote a book called Flow, and play the soft, classical, Baroque-style music and just let it rip. Most people have goals in mind. Most people have goals in mind, and they don't have written specific goals. So most people's goals are just wishes. And that is a big deal. It's got to be in writing. The second thing is you got to interact with them frequently. You go to work on your goals go to work on you. You should be reading your goals every day. The third thing is there should be some visual reminder of them. You know, if anyone's followed my career, I'm a massive fan of the American space program. And we got Neil Armstrong to come out of retirement. Took me years. We've had Jim Lovell, Gene Cernan, the first man on the moon, last man on the moon, and Tom Hanks, right?
Which he might as well be an astronaut.
Yeah, right. But Jim Lovell was Tom Hanks, right? The bottom line is every one of them said. So first of all, I love it because America set a goal. Kennedy said we're going to put a man on the moon safely to Earth by the end of the decade. That is a perfect goal. Seriously, that is a perfect. We are going to put a man on the moon. So we team going to put a man on the moon. We're going to bring him safely to Earth. That's the main purpose of the mission. And we're going to do it by the end of the deadline, at the end of the decade. So there was a deadline, there was accountability. America hadn't successfully launched an unmanned rocket without it exploding at that time and was getting beaten by the Russians at the time. It was a perfect goal. Every day, here's what they said. You talk about accountability. I asked Armstrong, how are we able to do this? He said, Brian, can you imagine if the President of the United States announced your goal to the world? Right. And then every night when you went home, you looked up and your goal was staring in front of you. So that was accountability to the country, to the world. And so accountability partners, people who are like-minded, it's very, very important. A coach, very, very important. When you have someone on the journey with you, the problems are cut in half and the joy is doubled. And so I think accountability, everybody wants accountability till they get it. But here's what I can tell you. I will be working out in San Diego tomorrow at 7:15 in the morning.
Because you got somebody waiting on you?
He's there. And if I text him and say, I got home, I was in Nashville, it was late, he's not answering.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I'm going to work out tomorrow.
Right.
And I'm a very driven, focused guy, goal-driven guy. I would not be working out tomorrow if he wasn't there.
Right. All right, now you hired that guy.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell us a little bit, what are we looking for? What's the best type of accountability partner?
Yeah. Well, you have some of these in your life, right?
Sure.
It's like-minded people.
Yeah.
People who have similar interests, similar philosophies. And then a little bit, what I feel works is, for the TV audience, is a little hand-in-glove approach. So, I'm real strong in this one area, and this person's real strong in this area, and we kind of complement each other. And I think that's where accountability really works. I respect this person for what they've achieved over here. They respect me for what I've done over here. And together, we're together. And that's, one of the first personal growth books was Napoleon Hill, right? Think and Grow Rich. And he spent 25 years studying the 500 most successful people on earth. Broke it all down to 13 principles. And one of them is the power of the mastermind. And this will cement your point. Napoleon Hill said 1 and 1 when masterminded together equal 11.
Ooh.
And that's the power.
Wow.
And human beings are designed, I believe, were created in God's image, and God is in relationship with himself, and human beings do better in relationship with one another. And so 1 and 1 together doesn't just make 2, it makes magic.
I want you to talk about outworking others.
Mm-hmm.
You're not espousing workaholics.
No.
So how do you outwork somebody? And here's why I'm asking it this way.
Yeah.
I think there are some people who really struggle with this boundary. You're somebody who's worked very, very hard for seasons, and you still work hard, but now you've gotten to a point where you can kind of balance things a little bit differently. How do we outwork somebody but still maintain a successful balance to keep us from burning out?
Well, I was in my real estate career, right? So I was this young kid, not real estate, and I started on the rocket ship. The average realtor was selling 6 homes a year, and I was selling over 100. Well, I eventually started a little game with myself and seen how many homes could I sell in 30 hours a week. And the answer was 87.
I love how specific that is.
That's what I sold.
Why not 88?
No, the goal was 96, but it turns out in 30 hours a week, I could sell 87 homes.
That's your max.
So I increased my average sales price, reduced my expenses, and increased my profits over when I was working 50 hours a week.
Love that.
So here's the deal. When you're working, be working. And when you're not, don't. What most people do is this. Because they have access to their phone, they have the phone on 7 days a week, they feel like they're available. They're like a fireman.
That's right.
But because of that, their energy dips down all the time. When I'm working, the phrase I have is an Irish phrase, skin and hair flying. I have a prioritized list. I don't mess around with the small stuff. You know, when you do a great to-do list and you're working really hard, your list will be larger at the end of the day than it was when you started. But you got to get the big things done. And I am skin and hair flying. Don't get in my way. I have power hours, a do not disturb sign on my face.
Yes.
And I'm in to get it done. And then if I'm at a ball game with my kids, I'm fully present. Then if I'm coaching the kids, I'm fully present. Then when I'm on date night with my bride, and I had to learn all this by making mistakes.
Sure.
You know, I remember coming home, my son jumps on my foot. I'm in real estate. I'm on the phone. And my bride, a beautiful woman, says, "Oh, Anthony, leave daddy alone. He's not home yet."
Ooh, ouch.
True. I was with Mrs. Maselli's leaking roof.
No, I got it.
And my kid is hanging on my foot. You know, I'm walking around with him. I'm in the, AJ, leave him alone. He's not home yet.
Right.
She's right.
Yeah.
I used to be, and again, here's okay. I used to go to the ball game, and I would be physically there, and I would not mentally be there.
Yeah.
I'd be on the sidelines. But my head was on all the things I was doing. Now, over time, I kept fighting through it to the point I became more efficient, more effective, and I realized that the world would continue to spin if I didn't get certain things done.
Yeah.
And the world would get without me. But my world couldn't get by without me. My wife and kids,
Yes.
they needed everything I had.
Yeah.
So I've always been the balance guy. I don't believe success is somebody working 100 hours a week. I believe I can outcompete anybody. I believe you take somebody with equal skill to me, equal talent and equal drive, and they work 100 hours a week and I work 45, I can outachieve them.
Yeah.
So, but I would say everywhere you go, there you are, what they used to say. And now for me, it's everywhere you go, be there. When you're working, work.
Yeah.
And then when you don't, shut off the phone.
Yeah.